Welcome once more to our 6th podcast. My name is Tommaso, musical producer of the Spirit in Action YouTube channel, and I am joined today by the lovely writer of these meditations, Claire. Hello, Claire.
Hi, Tom. What a beautiful day.
Today we focus on the day 6 meditation. What we focus on grows. As time goes by, meditating and writing the statements, I've become quite aware of the hurts, resentments and fears that have governed my life. There seems to be quite a well full of this inner dialogue, both consciously and unconsciously. Will it ever end, Claire?
Well, awareness is the beginning of the journey because our awareness of our triggers and seeing our emotional triggers particularly and the behaviours and habits that are formed, which are usually destructive, we can learn to create new ones to build new neural pathways in the brain. So rather than being reactive, we can learn to devalue the old habits, behaviours and patterns and learn to become responsive in a calm manner. So do we ever get rid of them?
Yeah.
We can devalue them so much that they don't run our lives anymore.
So, for instance, things like focusing on things which bring us peace, is that one of the things that can help us?
Well, wherever you put your focus helps enormously, of course. But the thing is, your triggers will come up unconsciously, if not conscious of them. If we don't recognise them, it can lead to untold pain and suffering. And we tend to take our suffering inward and suppress it. So learning to give a voice to those old harmful pains can help you not to turn them in on yourself, basically. And let's understand what a trigger is. A trigger is an impulse that causes negative, painful, or emotional feelings. But we can learn to reroute our responses by first recognizing and identifying our triggers. And then we have to learn to stop and interrupt. We have to find the space where we can choose our response. We are fated, basically, to repeat old patterns and behaviours until we start to identify our triggers. And then, once we start to identify them, we can set new neurons in the brain. When neurons in the brain fire together, they wire together, which is why we have to build new neural pathways. Otherwise, the old automatic response feelings and behaviours just keep on going.
I can see that sort of happening a lot. So, for example, when I'm feeling all this bliss and peace, my mind seems to always taint it with the fear of losing that peace. So I'm in a situation where everything's beautiful and then all of a sudden there's a little voice that says, yeah, but what if you're going to lose this? You know, that sort of talk.
Well, as I say, the old ways always try to recreate themselves. We just have to keep on devaluing its hold on us. And that's where the words become very important and helpful.
So that creates a new focus.
Creates a new focus and also accepts what is. What we try and do is stop those feelings of negativity.
Right.
Well, all we're doing is
putting it under the
putting
carpet.
it under the carpet, you know.
So, for example, I'm in a situation where everything's beautiful and then the voice comes, hang on, you're going to lose this, or they're going to die, or, you know, something horrible is going to happen. I acknowledge that. How do I acknowledge that without trying to shun it aside, you know, like close the door on that?
Well, just acknowledge it and allow it to be there. See it as a friend, not an enemy.
As a friend, as in?
Well, make a friend with those thoughts instead of making it your enemy. Allow them to be there, but interrupt them. That's why we have to learn to remove and replace. In any healing, we must remove and replace, but it's what we replace with. And the reason we remove and replace is because we're changing our old destructive patterns and creating new habits of a neutral nature.
For example, neutral nature.
Well, it doesn't set up a certain condition. It's here. It's not either sides, right or wrong. It's just here. It's clean.
Could you give an example?
Okay, well, let's just say your inner dialogue is feeling unloved or dismissed. And the old response may be you cry, get upset, feel moody, and can't stand up for yourself. So a new response can be talking about your feelings, have a voice, and staying in the centre instead of getting off on what's right or wrong.
You also mentioned the idea of the game and how the same old feelings and situations, perhaps with different people, keep popping up. It almost feels like some sort of vicious circle that if one is not aware...
The thing is, like, the patterns become cyclic.
Yeah, like a
And
wheel.
repeat, and they repeat with the same feelings, emotions, and behaviours until we become conscious and are able to devalue them.
What does devaluing mean?
Well, really, it means to decrease, so to lower its effect on you.
Well, this brings me to my next little question. I quite like the little exercise you sometimes tell us to do, where we start to write down how we feel on all our levels. And I'm quite aware how the awareness, I don't think the awareness seems to grow and give the ability to see my pattern that I'm going through. And you meant technique that seemed to work quite well, the non-writing.
Well, I've got two techniques that I think are very helpful.
Yeah.
One is the other hand technique.
The other hand, you mean the hand that does not write?
Yes, your other hand. So if you're left-handed, it's your right hand. If you're right-handed, it's your left hand.
Yeah, can you take me through that?
Okay, so what you do is you get a piece of paper and you write a line down in the middle and you put left hand, right hand. So if you're left-handed, that's your question hand. If you're right-handed, that's your question hand. So you can write whatever hand you are and then put questions.
The questions are done with your writing hand.
With your writing hand.
So let's say, how are you feeling today?
And then you put your pen in your non-writing hand and you reply whatever comes up, it doesn't matter what it is, and write it down. It may seem quite nonsensical.
Yeah, it's almost, when I tried it, it's almost like childlike.
It is almost childlike. And then you ask another question back to your writing hand and you keep a dialogue going between both hands. Now, it won't tell you anything you don't know, but what it seems to do is bring stuff up to the surface and it helps you to take your focus off it being a problem.
What I find is like you're looking in muddy water and
You're clearing the water.
You're clearing the water and you can see what's actually in there.
So that's one technique.
Right.
And the other technique is, again, you put a piece of paper with a line down the middle. And on one side, you put old and current reactions. And on the other side, you write new reactions. So with the old and current reactions, you're going to write all your triggers that you know of.
Okay.
See these as the things that push your buttons.
Oh, so for example, rudeness.
Yeah. So
Arrogance.
write them all down.
Right, okay.
And then write what your current reaction normally is.
But you can do this with any writing hand, right? This is not a...
No, this isn't the other hand technique. So then you write down how you would normally react. So let's say with you say rudeness. Yes. So how would you normally react?
Anger.
Okay, so let's say our new response. So this is being conscious response instead of from a knee-jerk reaction. What could you do instead?
Breathe.
Well, you laugh at breathing, but actually it's a deep breathing is a very good thing to do.
Oh, good. So I got that right.
So plus you can do your words. Breathe, do your words.
Okay, I'm driving and someone's cut me off and then got in front of me and started slowing down just to, piss you off. That's what some people love doing. Just being mean on the road.
Well, I'd do the water breaths. I'd do at least 6 water breaths to help calm you down. And then I'd say your words so that you change the focus.
What would I say to that?
Well, tell me what you'd say.
Normally?
No. What words could you say that would help?
I am at peace with myself and my circumstances.
Well, yes, that's one. And
I forgive.
I let go of my tight hold on people, places, situations and opinions. I forgive, detach and move on.
I let go of my tight hold on people, places, situations
and opinions.
And opinions.
I forgive, detach, and move on.
Wow, if I could do that.
Well, the thing is, what you'll learn, that's why when I talked about earlier, when we interrupt, we have to learn to find that space. If you find that space, you can have time to choose your response.
Yes, I see. Rather than
Instead of your old feelings.
It's usually knee-jerk, as you say, yes. But it is slowing down.
Yeah.
These reactions too. That's just one facet. I'm sure lots of people have other.
Sure, they have heaps, love. So that's a very helpful technique too. Because
Fantastic.
again, it helps you to become more aware of your triggers and how you would react and what you can choose to do instead.
Yes, it is. All comes from a choice, doesn't it?
Yes, but as I say, you have to identify your triggers and your old habits and behaviours to be able to do that.
How are you finding on your process as you've gone along with?
Well, it was a long journey and still is, but I think I've changed radically. I used to be quite angry and very hurt. And if I got hurt, I could be I'm usually an extremely kind person, but if I got hurt, I'd feel very, I don't know if vindictive's the way, but I'd want to, probably is.
Some sort of justice, no?
Some sort of justice to it,
So, yeah, there is a lot of changes happening.
In the world, yes. Well, I've been saying for a long time, this is a time of feminine energy rising. And, I mean, that's in a male as well as a woman.
Oh, yes, it's been shunned for, thousands of years now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Changes are happening and are they quite fast compared to, it's been thousands of years in the making.
Well, I think everything's going very fast at the moment. I actually think time has sped up.
Yes, you're right. It does feel like time is speeding up, but it's just things are coming up and I go, wow, is that tomorrow? Am I doing that tomorrow? Oh my gosh, where did all the time go?
Yeah, I think for us to become more conscious.
What I find that's helping me a lot with keeping up with this hectic speeding up pace is that I do give myself, whenever I can, 10 minutes of just sitting, silence, and feeling what comes up. And yeah, it's amazing how much. And what I find is great is ideas that pop into my head that also aid me
in your work.
In my work. Yeah. I feel like it does help even in the midst of all this busyness.
Because you're more in connection to your spirit, which after all is where creativity comes from.
Well, thank you so much again. And if you want to talk more with Claire, she is available to discuss further things with you. There's a link below which sends you to her webpage and you can book an appointment with her either in person or on Zoom or Skype. Or do you Skype?
Skype.
She Skypes. So, and it's quite simple. So anywhere in the world, or if you don't feel comfortable going in person, Skyping. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment below and we'll address that. These podcasts are focused on questions that people have given us through the meditation, either on YouTube or in person, and also my questions too that I've been listening to. So these all come from Continuum, and we've just finished recording our 66th meditation. So it's been a wonderful journey for me.
And for me.
Oh, great. Oh, good. It's been a wonderful centering sort of exercise. And it's lovely to have something like this on YouTube. And I found that other people find that too.
Well, thank you, Tom. Until the next time.
Until next time. Thank you, Claire.
Bye.
Bye.